It appears that this year Nike isn't performing to its usual standard. There are so many barriers and obstacles in the way of its success right now, and they seem to be self-imposed. There's a big disconnect between the consumers and the company itself, bro. People feel more like a transaction number, and there's no opinion behind the money that they spend. There's only a numerical value. Simple fact is that people are just not getting what they want. Comfortable, quality sneakers. A lot of customers just feel like their voice isn't being heard at all, man. The releases aren't matching up to the customer's expectations. It's almost as if the opinions of those who matter the most are simply not being heard. Sneakers just don't hold their value the way they used to. Everybody knows that sneakers can be dumb expensive, like buku bucks for no reason at all, like 10K for a kick, 1K for a kick. I can't even afford my rent, dog. Why are you asking me for sneakers? I'm sleeping on an air mattress. But the truth is, in an economy, it doesn't matter how much a sneaker is worth, who's actually willing to buy it, and very few people are willing to spend that type of money on a pair of sneakers. The high price of sneakers is just a guise for laziness, you see. When sneakers are this high in value, it makes the companies feel like their work is done. The sneakers are perceived as valuable, and they don't need to do anything to make the customer more happy because obviously they're enjoying what's going on. Otherwise, sneakers would not be as expensive as they currently are. Fact of the matter is that Nike is just disconnected with its customers. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, guys, and Nike has gotten very comfortable with its current standing, guys. They've been the hottest sneaker company ever since the 80s. They don't feel like they really need to do much to push things forward in advance, and that's why they're getting attacked by every other brand right now. Like I previously said, Nike just isn't releasing the sneakers that people want. They keep releasing the same old boring hype sneakers that people cannot get, such as Travis Scott's. How many times have they said we're done with the Jordan 1 lows? And they keep releasing them. And I know those have a high demand, but there isn't as much result from those releases as we'd like to think. People can't access those sneakers, so there's a real big gap and a very wide disparity between what people want and what they're actually getting. Pleasing your market is a catch-22 in some ways to a company, and it's very hard to find a balance between making money and making people happy, because if you release everything they want, your price is going to go down, but if you never release what they want, they have no incentive to buy, but the price remains high. It is a very difficult thing to gauge as a business owner. Like I previously alluded to, the sneakers that people want are very difficult to obtain, challenging, arduous. You have a better time capturing fire in your hands than you would getting a Travis Scott for retail. It's difficult. And I know those aren't the only sneakers out there, right? You have plenty of other options, and I think this is what is happening. And I believe this is what's happening to Nike right now. People have realized, like, hey, you know what? Just because something is hype does not mean it's the only thing that'll fit my taste palette. And there's other options around this too. At the end of the day, no matter what, whether people gravitate towards reps, used sneakers, other brands, they just feel like their voice isn't being heard. And at the end of the day, I don't care what route you go about getting your sneakers with. It's the fact that people want to feel valued and appreciated and heard. Nobody likes having that feeling of being used or rip off. It's a very scummy thing to feel. And honestly, there isn't enough structure in the game to support a market that exists like this, one that is based off of raffles. Like, the idea that you have to enter into a raffle just to get a chance at buying a sneaker for retail is kind of counterproductive, if you will, all right? That's our SAT word of the day, but it just doesn't make sense. It's paradoxical in a sense. Like, I have to take a chance in order to buy something for a fair retail price, and if I lose, I either don't get the product, or if I want the product, I have to pay a much higher price than somebody who just got lucky or manipulated their odds into getting the sneaker, right? Because there's ways to increase your probability of getting a select sneaker, therefore giving you an advantage in the market. And if you're able to increase the probability at which you can get a sneaker, it allows you to have an advantage in the sense of a monetary value, right? And once you have more monetary control over a sneaker, you have a better chance of getting more sneakers for a better price, and then you can continue to keep your stats at the top. What does that sound like? There's a game you used to play as a kid. It was Uno. I'm just kidding. Obviously, it was a Monopoly, and I got plenty of Monopoly money, you know what I'm saying, in this little Monopoly game that we're playing, because they're buying up all the property and leaving you to be homeless. And let's look at the infrastructure in the sneaker market. You got Sneakers app, a broken mess, all right, guys? They do raffles and they do scratch-offs, but they don't work that well because there's very little equity in it, right? How can we help the people that just don't have the same access to the same type of resources and give them a fair chance in this? Because let's be real, it is not fair and equal between everybody who enters into those apps. Truth be told, this is more of a game of luck and resources. The websites are broken and defunct as well. Do you know how easy it is to get an army of bots and go on these websites and get things as they queue up? Like, it's crazy. Most websites, like with Yeezys, for example, they used to have long queue lines, but guess who found a way to make it to the very first in line? The hackers and the resellers. It's crack. And honestly, people just want diversity in their sneakers. They're not really concerned with hype too much. They just want to be able to wear a different pair of kicks every day, and that's cool, man. It shouldn't cost an arm and a leg just to be a little bit diverse and a little bit different. Sneakers just don't hold their value over time. The quality control is very poor. On top of that, the price of these sneakers is getting higher and higher. So there's a very large disconnect between what people are getting and what they're paying for and how it holds up over time. And you know what? Other brands have seen the cracks in Nike's armor, bro, and they're moving in to infiltrate like a Game of Thrones, the political warfare right here, all right? We got House, we got Power, we got all those TV shows combined into one because Nike is done. If you were to ask me what brands are really thriving right now, New Balance, On Cloud, Hoka's, and Asics, yes, these were 4 reject brands that nobody would ever wear a couple of years ago that have ascended to the top. Why? Because they're comfortable, they're familiar, and they have low value. Honestly, they match the value to which the person gets out of the sneaker. You know what I'm trying to say, dog? Like, if you're buying these sneakers and you're wearing these sneakers, you are getting your money's worth. On top of that, these sneakers are readily available. Go into Foot Locker right now, I guarantee you'll get a pair. Even go into Ross, I guarantee you're going to find a pair. It's not that difficult. What helps is the fact there's not ridiculously high demand for these sneakers. Yes, they are respected, but they aren't bought out like crazy because people know the reason why they wear these, for fashion and comfort. It's not just for a quick buck. It's ironic how the brands that nobody wanted have become the sneakers that people appreciate. People just want to wear the sneakers that they own without any shame whatsoever, guys. That's their main goal. And Nike can't compete with the level of customer loyalty that people have towards these sneakers, guys. It's just hard for them to do right now because they're viewed as the big dog, the people at the top that just aren't liked, man. It's a hard game to play. And everyone talks about how 2025 is going to be such a game changer for Nike. Let's see. 2025 is supposed to be Nike's comeback year. Nike's stock and sales have been suffering bad this year, very bad. A lot of coveted sneakers are sitting on the apps and their stock price dropped by 20%. Their plan is to release sneakers that people want and hopefully counteract the low sale prices. So they're going to give you a bunch of grail sneakers. In other words, 2025 will be Nike's year to buy you back, literally. By doing this, they're going to kill off some of the resale prices that make such a barrier to you guys buying sneakers anyway. And after this, will Nike be big dog again? Truth is, it's hard for Nike to lose its renown. They have that nostalgia factor that a lot of brands just don't have yet. They were seen as the pioneer of signature basketball shoes. As long as Jordans are desirable and wanted, which they will always be, it's going to be very hard for Nike to fall off and lose its status. As long as Nike's got its past catalog, they can never be truly dethroned, guys. They will always hold a certain status in the sneaker game, even if they stop releasing sneakers for the future. But right now, their position is being compromised, guys. You got a lot of options, exercise them and use them, and Nike is seeing where you guys are going, and things aren't looking that easy for them right now.